justify it, you're good to go. If it's reasonable, I'll tell you right now, the reasonable standard, and we're going to talk about it later. The reasonable standard for EMS providers is, would a reasonable, so y'all paramedics in here? Anybody not a paramedic? Okay. Would a reasonable paramedic with the same level of training and experience, in the same community, under the same circumstances, do the same thing? Yeah, so you're fine, as long as you can reasonably justify it. You know, if the landlord's walking down the hall and he's 8 feet away with the key and then you make a forcible entry, you're going to have a tough time with that one. But otherwise, no, I think as long as it's reasonable. So, since we're talking about video cameras, this is a dangerous time to live in, because what they see and what they think they see now doesn't just end up on the evening news like the holiday videos. You guys know what the holiday video is? George Holiday? The Rodney King videotape, right? Plastered all, it took a couple days, but it wound up out there and it was plastered all over every TV station. Well, now, it's conceivable that that thing will be on the internet in front of tens of millions of people before you even make it to the hospital. And guess what you're in a position that you now have to do? You got to justify yourself. You have to explain yourself. And in some situations, you can't avoid it. But in other situations, and these are where they're going to get you, is if you're rude or disrespectful, or if you appear to be physically abusing it, making sure that patients are contained such that they won't hurt themselves and others is a part of what EMS providers have to do. But it never looks good. Like, there's no way that an EMS person can restrain someone and have it look good, like it's supposed to. But there are ways to mitigate that a little bit, and you'll glean them as we go through. But things like YouTube, MySpace, and if you're really great, America's Funniest Videos, because if you make it on that, where they see what they want to see. Unfortunately, that is completely true. The question is, what do they see versus what do they think they see? When they see you and you get out of the squad or the ambulance or whatever you use to get to the call, and you're looking all sharp and you're well prepped and you got your equipment and you go in and you're looking serious and you're ready to do your thing, right? What do they see? What do you think they see? Well, that guy's probably that person. I say guy, but I mean it universally. No offense to any of the ladies in the house. That person looks pretty professional. I bet they're going to take good care of that person. I bet they're, good to go. But what if it's like the 18th call of the day? You're tired. Your little hair's all messed up because it's kind of late and you're laying down and your thing's all kind of half untucked, right? And you walk in. Now you're just as good as you were when your hair's all neat and nice. But what do they think they see? And they're going to judge you on that. And that, as we continue on in this discussion, is going to become important. But let's go procedurally, right? Now, I realize that the precordial thump is a thing of the past. But it was one of my favorite tools. I liked it. It was very effective for those of you who ever had the pleasure of employing that tactic. Has anybody done that before? Raise your hand. It's okay. Raise your fist if you've done it. All right. Well, it's a great tool. But imagine if you're a bystander, what does it look like? You know, I mean, the guy's not a toaster. You can't bang on him and hope that he gets better, right? But they don't know. They don't know what they're seeing, and they don't know how to interpret it. I remember we had a guy, oh man, this guy messed up. He had his heart all over the place, right? He was sitting up in a chair, and my partner was trying to do the assessment, get everything taken care of, and had the monitor on, and like Pack 5, it was a long time ago. And, you could hear the beep, 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 so he's doing his thing. Anyway, the thing just beep, and he's in VFib, right? Sitting up in the chair, and he starts to slump over. My partner, and God bless him, because he was a good paramedic, he just said, bam, right in the chest, like socked him right in the chest. Beep, 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 beep. He came back, and then he came back and grabbed a hand. Now, the fire captain, no disrespect to fire captains if there's any here, he did not quite understand what it was he had just seen, because it's a rarely used technique to begin with, much less in that particular set of circumstances. And so there was a heated debate after the call until it was explained what exactly happened. Now imagine a bystander, what that would look like to a bystander. But more importantly, there's two ways, settlements versus jury awards. And I want you to keep this in the back of your mind, because at the very end of the lecture today, we're going to talk about why they're both important, okay, when it comes to defending your own interest when you're actually in trouble. Settlements are what defendants or their attorneys or their agencies decide to pay to make it go away, right? You know what, you did this thing to me and I deserve to be paid for it, and I want $50,000, right? And the agency knows that it'll cost $100,000 to defend whether they're going to win or lose. They lose. So they say, you know what, here, take 50 or take 40.